Hey guys, welcome to Appalachia's Homestead. Patara with you today. Happy New Year. We are making old timers cough syrup. No one is sick in the house, but we are dead into winter and a new year, and it's something that you need to have ready on hand for when sickness strikes. So let's show you how we make it. I think you're gonna like it. Okay, so before we begin, I want to say a few things. Number one, always do what works best for you, your family, your farm, your health, etc. Just because you see something on YouTube, folks, does not mean you necessarily need to do it. Number two, if you are really sick, you need to seek medical attention, okay? I am not a doctor, don't claim to be a doctor, just showing you some old-time remedies that have proven to work here that we use, and we know folks that use them, and they are very effective. But you need to do what's working for you and your family. Just want to clear that up. All right, let's get started. All right, guys, so let's get started. This is not complicated. In fact, most of you have done this. Most of you have seen this. Your mother or great-great-grandmother made you a hot toddy at some point in your life. So realize that this is actually quite common. And there's different ways to make this. There's different variations. People change it up. A lot of times people use what they have on hand. Hey, that's the way it goes, right? So a lot of these ingredients you already have on hand, or is something, or are things that you want to keep on hand, particularly during the winter months, and you can change it up. So let's go over the basis of what most recipes call for. Number one, you're gonna get your liquor going, okay? There's different ways to skin this cat. You can use bourbon, you've got your whiskeys, you've got your vodkas, you've got whatever, okay? I'm going to be using this today, the cheap old Kentucky bourbon here, straight from it, okay? The stronger the proof, the more potent it's obviously going to be. So remember that as well, okay? So there's different, I just pulled out a couple things that I have sitting, and they're not open. I'm going to use what I have already open, okay? So I'm going to be using your Kentucky straight bourbon here, okay? Whatever you've got, but that's what I'm going to be going for. The second component of making any type of hot toddy or homemade syrup is going to be one of two things, the second one. Most folks grab honey. Local is best. It's going to work better for you, I think. Raw local honey if you've got it, okay? You can do that. If that's what you've got, use it. Or if you are like me, you've got access to a lot of sorghum, okay? So, we go down to Delano, we go up to Muddy Pond. I'm probably going to be using this because it's open. Plus, I will tell you, a lot of times it's a little bit smoother. It's thick, it's smooth, but either one of these, go for it. You can do both in there if you'd like, whatever. The next thing that you're going to use is lemon. Okay, I'm going to tell you to have a whole lemon. I'm going to squeeze the whole thing in there. I go for it. I don't measure it out. I just squeeze it in there and go. Now, in some of your recipes that you're going to see online, a lot of folks will tell you to use peppermint. I love peppermint. I put peppermint in water. I carry peppermint in my purse. It settles your tummy. It does a lot of great things for you. However, if you speak to a lot of old timers like I have, when talking about making homemade cough syrup, they don't make it with peppermint. They make it with horehound. And you can Google that if you can find this. This is a pretty common candy that you can find. They have it at Tractor Supply, Cracker Barrel. I got this actually at Food City. I was surprised to see a whole section of this candy at Food City. And I bought cinnamon, I bought horehound, I bought peppermint. It's good to keep hard candy like this in your pantry for multiple reasons, okay? Food storage pantry, we talked about that. So I'm going to be using horehound candy, okay? Good old horehound candy. You can even buy sassafras candy. You can mix it up, whatever you want to do. So let's talk about this. You've got this. You've got your bourbon, your whiskey. You've got your honey or your molasses. You've got your straight up lemon, and you've got your hard candy. Now, I'm going to suggest to you, I'm not going to do it in this recipe, but I am going to suggest to you that it may not be a bad idea to add ginger. This is one of the things I think you need to keep on hand at all times if possible, but particularly in the winter months. Ginger tea for if you get the stomach bug, ginger for your immune system, so you might want to think about that. So what I'm going to do is start mixing this in my pot here because we're going to slow heat it. We're not going to overheat it. We're not going to kill it because we don't necessarily want to kill any of the properties. We just want to get it mixed up. So let's start the mixa. Okay, so the next question is how much of what do you use? here's what I'm going to tell you. Let me move some of this out of the way. When you are using your liquor of choice and say your honey or your molasses or your sorghum, this is going to be a 1-to-1 ratio. So if you do, if you add 1/4 of a cup of this, you're going to add 1/4 of a cup of that. Does that make sense? I'm going to be mixing in a 1/2 cup of each, okay? You can make smaller batches, you can make larger batches, okay? I'm going to make enough to have a good round of it to put away, and then, of course, this is not that difficult to make, so you do like to freshen it up every now and then, but it does it keeps forever, frankly, but that's what we're going to be doing. A 1-to-1 ratio is going to be going in the pan of these two starting now. All right, so we've got the liquor, you've got your bourbon, we've got the sorghum in here. If it's not exact, don't sweat the small stuff, kids. And then I'm just going to squeeze the lemon. There might be a seed in there. We'll fish him out later. I'm not worried about it. Just squeeze it on in there. Okay? Okay, done? Okay, now you're going to mix up your candy, your hard candy. Smash it however way you want to, but I've got a mortar and pestle, and that's what we have here on the farm, and I highly recommend, and you're going to make a little bit of a mess, I highly recommend, bang bang, that you have one of these on hand. So you're just going to break the candy, and then we're going to mash it real fine. All right, I ground up about 6 pieces of horehound candy. Let me tell you that if you choose to use peppermint, if you have those softer peppermint candies on hand that a lot of us enjoy during the holidays, they do grind up a little bit easier. Just a little bit more work. Ain't never hurt nobody, right? So we're going to put it right in there. We're going to put this on a low heat, okay? Get the rest of that out, but we're going to put it on a low heat, and we're going to stir, stir, stir. Some people might put this on a high boil. You know, I don't know how you make it. I do not. I don't want it on a high heat. I don't want it to burn. I don't want to kill properties of the honey or the sorghum. So, you know, you want to keep that in there, but you just want to heat it to mix it up. So let's get her heated up. All right, guys, so it's heated and it's mixing up. It's sitting on the side. I'm going to put it in a bottle. You can use whatever you like, okay? I'm going to tell you right now that if you use a good old mason jar, I would use a wide mouth. Don't use one of those regular mouths, okay? I'm a major, the wide mouth all the way, okay? It's easier to get everything out. What I did, as you can see, I've used this several times before. That's where I've written cough syrup. It's already worn off. Is I got one of these little handy-dandy bottles. Clearly from Trader Joe's, and their organic maple syrup. I've used this over and over, so I'm going to pour it through a funnel right in here. You can use all kinds of things. It just depends on how much you make. I'm not making a huge batch right now because I just want some quick on hand, number one. Number two, this is demonstration. So remember, do what works best for you, but I'm telling you, these little handy-dandy bottles like this work great. Now I will tell you, even though that was very smooth, it's quite delicious actually. I mean, it's strong, I'm not gonna lie to you, but I will tell you it is very sticky. So this is something you want to be aware of, that's why these types of bottles work really well, because it pours out just like so. See? It's really nice and handy dandy. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching. Hope you're having a very healthy season. This is something great to have on the back stock, though, and something good to know that you can make at home regardless of the situation, right? Absolutely. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest. Gonna let this cool, gonna set the lid on, and we're ready to go. Thanks for watching. Since I know you're going to ask, I think I forgot to tell you how much to take. Okay, again, do what works best for you. But when we have this, I have found for adults 1 to 2 tablespoons is what works best for us. When my children, who are bigger than me now, much bigger than me, oh my, what I did for the children, and I did give it to small children, not toddlers or anything like that, but school-age children, I gave them about a teaspoon. Okay, I didn't we didn't shoot the moon on that. So always gauge that. It's best to be modest, and we would typically take this before we went to bed. Okay, so might want to think about that. Again, make sure that you understand what you're taking, what you have. If you need to seek medical attention, do so, and always beware of all other medications that you are on, right? To make sure that it's safe that you take something like this. I want to make sure I clarify all that up. Thanks for watching.